Hi, this is Rose from Keto and Cultured, and I went ahead and my husband helped me cut up all these vegetables this morning, and I want to do a quick little video on my version of sauerkraut, which most people just use green cabbage. This is a cultured vegetable sauerkraut, my version. So what I've done is we've cut up, and you could do anything in it. Just remember that whatever you use, the flavors are going to be intensified. The vitamins and minerals are going to be intensified. So if you like ginger, for instance, or some other vegetable that's strong, bell pepper or whatever, you want to be careful because it's going to be intensified. So I don't use as much of it. But I have red cabbage, green cabbage. It's a real pretty color when I'm done with it too. The red beets. I have kale, green kale. A whole bunch of it. Celery, I love celery in my cultured sauerkraut. Onions, parsley, Celtic salt. I went ahead and did a habanero, a small habanero pepper with only half of the seeds in it. And I have a little bit of ginger, just a little nub of ginger, maybe a thumb size full, just for the nutritional value in it. And also I have some garlic. So be careful with the garlic. I've never really overdone it because I was warned, because it does intensify the flavors. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the camera back, and then I'm going to show you the crock that I use to do it, although you can use a mason jar. And if you're interested in doing this kind of thing, go on the internet and watch a bunch of videos on it, and you'll learn a little bit from each one. You'll be making sauerkraut expert. So I'm going to take the camera back. Right here. Flip it around. Okay, and while he's getting ready, I want to show you the crock. I have a harsh crock here that I'm using. This is a 7.5 liter. It has a well at the top of it, and it's a deep well. I have another crock that is not a harsh crock, this brand right here, that has a smaller well, and so I have to really be careful as I'm letting this ferment over how many ever weeks I'm going to do it, that it doesn't run out of water. And the water in the well, once the vegetables are in and the top is on, it allows the gases to escape but no air to come in, because air is the enemy of the cultured vegetable. It'll create mold and everything else, so you want to keep it under. And when we get to that part under the liquid, when we get to that part, of course I'll show you how you make that happen. So for now, we're going to go ahead and get started in loading the crock with the vegetables. Now, I did not buy a pounder to pound the vegetables to get all the juice out of it. I have a bat. Let me get that bat. So there, I just have a bat. We wrapped it in plastic baggie just for sterile reasons. And so if you're going to do this, you want to make sure everything is kind of sterile along the way. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to pass this back over to my husband, and I'm going to put one load in the, I keep shutting the camera off, and then I have to start all over again. So we're going to go down here, and so I'm simply going to take, my hands are clean, I'm going to take a handful of the green cabbage, and you want a mixture, so I do a little bit of that. I got a lot of red cabbage here, so I'm going to put in there purple cabbage. I'm going to put some of that in. And then wash my hands. Now I'm not going to go through this whole entire batch here, otherwise we'll be here all day. And then you want to put the salt on it. The salt is real important. It helps maintain an environment so that the bad bacteria can't grow, and the good bacteria will grow. And the salt is kind of like a preservative, a little bit a natural preservative, but it also draws the liquids or the fluids out of the vegetables, and you do need that with the sauerkraut. You have to keep it under water, and so we're going to make the water. So I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle a couple of pinches in here, and then I'm going to grab the camera back. Actually, I'm just going to show you while my husband holds it, because he usually does this big job. And what I'll do is, after we get all the vegetables in and we've got it almost done, then I'll do a part 2 to this, and you can come back in and see how it's done, what it looks like when it's done. So this is normally my husband's job. But you just pound it. Pound it, pound it, pound it, pound it, pound it, and as you do, you're gonna break it down and the liquids are gonna come out of it. And now normally when you're buying the cabbage, I would pick the heaviest ones, and I always use organic. It's best, especially if you're gonna go through this process, you wanna use the very best ingredients that you can. If you cannot use organic, it's okay, because the process itself helps eat up a lot of those toxins too. But you want to pound this, and then I'm just going to set this in my clean sink here, and then I'm going to start adding other things. So we're going to put a little onion in it, and we're going to put some red cabbage, which is very colorful and stains. I'm going to put that in, and you want to put the chard in. Now on these, get another bowl, because these things, these small things, the garlic and the habanero pepper and the ginger that I'm using, now it's going to be hard to get those all working in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix those with the onion, and I'm going to mix it with the parsley and just kind of get that going. Mix that up a little bit. That way it'll be distributed more evenly in there. And I love celery. And you don't have to put these in. If you don't like these flavors, you don't have to. Play around with it. If you're not used to it and you're not sure what you like, start doing it in a mason jar first. Small batches in a mason jar, and then you can get an idea of what you like. So more cabbage. There we go. Last time I did this, I used colorful beets. You know, they were orange and other colors, and I didn't have as much of the red cabbage, and it wasn't a real pretty color. So, and then you want to go ahead and put salt on it again. I didn't get enough salt. You want to make sure you got enough salt going on here. So I would say for this size, you know, you're probably going to use 5 or maybe 6 tablespoons. There was 3 tablespoons in this, and I'm already out of it. So, okay, so we're going to go ahead. It's a messy job. But once I do this, I let this go for sometimes a couple of months. And you can take the sauerkraut out of it in small batches and then put it all back together again. What I usually do is once I go for a month or however long I'm going to do it, I will take it out and I'll put it into separate jars, put lids on it, and then just put it in the refrigerator. And it'll last for 8 or 9 months. You can keep pulling from it. So again, I'm going to go ahead and give this job back to my husband, and I'll meet you back here. I'll go ahead and do part 2 of my cultured vegetable sauerkraut. See you in a few. Bye.